Hey, I'm Alex back from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
And we are back with our top 100 games of all time as of 2024. This time we are doing 30 through 21.
The top 30.
You may have noticed something different about this video and all the prior videos. I'm wearing this amazing hoodie. It's from Kohl's. I highly recommend. And we have Meg over here as well, joining for the top 30 games of all time.
Finally, the top 100 is worth watching.
Well, that feels insulting.
Because this is your top 30 games. I'm sure people are most interested in your top 30 games.
Well, that feels like gaslighting.
Anyway, guys, how's it going?
Anyway, so top 30 games of all time. 2 quick notes. I won't do the full little deep dive. 2 quick notes. 1, if you want to see the way I put together my list, go ahead and check out any of the previous videos where I talk about it. Actually, the last one I didn't. Every other video I talk about how I do it, you can check that out. Also, you can go ahead and support the channel if you'd like. There's a video where I'm giving away a whole bunch of games. I'll link to that down below if you want to support the channel, either because you want a chance of winning free games or because you appreciate the 700 plus videos that come out every single year. That's a great opportunity to watch that, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Speaking of, if you enjoy this video, you can like it. You can subscribe to this channel. You can do any of those things that I literally never ask you guys to do, but it's Christmas.
And, Meg, how do you put together your list?
Okay, guys, so I really need to disclaimer this before we start any of this, because I'm joining into a top 100, which has already been started. So I have to preface everything that I do, right?
Sure.
So my list is a mix-mash, whatever you want to call it.
A mix-mash, I like that.
There's a lot of games. Okay, this is literally what I'm going to say. There's a lot of games that if I did my overall top 100 of all time, of all of my life experiences, it would be different from this list. There are some things that I'm going to note right now that are not on this list, like Enish and Gloomhaven, but because I wanted to do new ones from 2024 of like certain genres, because I only had 30 games, there are some, I'm going to have a reason for every game, but it's kind of my top 30 of 2024. I don't know if I played Enish this year.
Of 2024 or as of 2024? What does that mean?
Of 2024.
These are all 2024 titles?
Not my all-time. They're not 2024 titles, but they're the games I played the most in 2024. So if it is an oldie, it's because I played it. Okay.
So it's slightly different. I guess I will do a little bit of
and I will talk about it every time I bring up every game and why I chose it for this list. But it's kind of just like my experiences. A lot of them are new to me in 2024. I think most of them are, or they gave me a new experience.
Gotcha. So it's slightly different than what I do. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but now I will. The thing I've been saying every video is, mine is top 100 games of all time as of 2024. There's some bias towards new games because they're new and exciting, but there's also bias towards old favorites, even if I haven't played it in over a year. There's many games in my top 100 that I have not played in the past year. To me, it's about whether that game still holds that spark of joy in my heart, or whether I've moved on from it. So there's definitely a bias around what I want to play, not so much what I have been playing, if that makes sense.
And part of the reason that I did this is because I have also been living in Futureland. I live in Preview Land, where I'm playing a lot of games that are not yet out, and I wanted to do all games that are out and current games. I didn't do anything that you're waiting on. So shout out actually to Avalon, because that's one that I thought about, but I was like, I'm not gonna do it. So
you
everything.
Liked Avalon that much?
I really did.
I didn't realize that.
I took like Arthurian classes in college, so I really, really like the lore, and it just really, really, it's like, it would be if you loved Harry Potter and then played a Harry Potter game. Like, it was the game, but also I just love Arthurian
I think sometimes
legend.
I play games with you and don't realize whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
This is going to be a surprise for me. We'll
find
find out.
It's going to be. So.
Anyways, let's go ahead and start off with my number 31. And if you're like confused by why, no, it's not. But it is. It's not, but it is. Okay. So she's like, well, I thought you said 30 to 21. Yes, this is 30 to 21, but I'm doing my kind of 31B.
Didn't you? I was gonna say, because you already did 31.
I already did 31. Yeah,
I could do that, but I haven't.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. No, 31B for me, and I'll explain what's going on here. In fact, this is gonna be interesting to you. My 31B is Arydia, the Path Sweet Air Tread. Okay.
There you go.
This one was a hard one for me to try to figure out where, if at all, it goes into my top 100. Fun fact to this, in case you missed it already, I did a whole unboxing for this. I have started playing this game, but I would say that in the point where I was putting together my top 100, and even now, I'm still figuring out where this lands. I have a hard time figuring it out because I've only just broken out of tutorial land in the Arydia, and I haven't gotten far enough yet to really be sure where this is. I'm very sure it's a top 100 game for me. The part that I'm very unclear on is, I'm unclear if it's a top 20 game, a top 50 game, a top 70 game, a top 100 game. I know I like it enough that it's definitely top 100 material, which which is why I'm kind of throwing it in here. But I kind of feel if I had like another 2 weeks, I could tell you a whole lot more. But I don't have another 2 weeks because I'm filming the Top 100 right now. So I wanted to kind of give it props in roughly where I think, if you're like, why here? I feel like it's probably in this rough area. I didn't want to go too much higher. I didn't want to go too much lower. We're putting it at a 31B, a magical, a special honorary mention. That's Arydia, the path we dare tread.
Well, speaking of Arydia a little bit, I'll just tangent. It's not a 31, but I'll tangent. I felt that this year I played a lot of games that were like role-playing style, co-op with like story-based choices and things like that. That for me, I did feel like that was like a very common theme of a lot of games I played this year. And I was thinking next year, I feel like it's going to be the year of TCGs for me.
TCGs?
I really want to get more into them. And
Arcana,
everyone's
Star
getting
Wars
into
Unlimited,
it.
Arkham Horror, the
and
card
there's
game.
more out so I did not put any TCGs on my list this year, but next year I think, we'll see.
Move
we'll
over,
see
Thinker Themer. Pokemon is back on Professor Meg's channel.
I love Pokemon.
Anyways, you can start with your 30 because I did my 31B.
All right, my number 30. Hold on, I gotta move things over. Oh my gosh. I didn't think about picking this up with one arm.
I organized all mine in.
It's going to be Skyrise. I just didn't think about picking it up with one arm.
Yeah. That's the game that's missing.
Woo! Yeah, Skyrise, I really enjoy the bidding system, especially when you have 4 players. This is a game that I've been able to really enjoy with 4 players. And it's just something that I really, really like with pathing out. It's a game where you're pathing out bidding, trying to gain certain locations for endgame scoring. And at the beginning of the game, you know exactly what towers you have, so you know exactly what numbers you're going to be able to bid with, but you have different waves of wave 1 and wave 2 when you get those different towers to bid with. And I don't know, I just love it. I think it's very thinky, and I think that the way that I enjoy pacing out and counting out different things, not only for myself, but setting up other players' turns, it's really fun.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
I really like this one.
Yeah, I love Skyrise. It was, I don't remember exactly where it was for me, but it was in my top 100 this year. Not as high,
and
but
it's
honestly,
absolutely beautiful on top of it. But yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good game. It's a good game. My number 30 is arguably the biggest box they have here, but that's also kind of cheating because it's a box full of extras and stuff, and that's Dominion.
Ooh.
Dominion is my 30. This is a box from One Sharp Joe. We've talked about his boxes when I talked about Marvel Champions, but Dominion saw a bit of a resurgence for me this year. It's been in my top 100 a lot, but it saw a bit of a resurgence thanks to the app. The app has made tabling it so accessible in terms of just getting to play whatever expansion you want, popping up a game. I still enjoy the physical game of it. I do play it more in the app than in the physical game at this point, but to me, this is the grandfather of deck building game. Not the first of its kind, but the one that made it popular, and for good reason. It's pure, simple, clean deck building, incredibly satisfying as far as the puzzle that it provides in terms of trying to work your way towards victory before the other players based on knowing the card market in advance. I love that fixed card market. It's so much better than a rotating card market, even though those games can be fun. I love this game. It's my 30.
I do want to note, I touched it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I was just feeling like how smooth it was. So just to say, like, that wasn't me looking at anything. This holds how much? Everything?
This does not hold everything. This is one of 2 giant boxes.
Okay, so there are 2 of these that Joe makes, and it fits everything.
As of right now, until they make more.
Interesting.
Marvel Champions, you need like 3 or 4 at this point. That's a different story.
Yeah, I'm someone that I really like deck building, but for me, I enjoy changing market.
I know we've had this argument. You're an Ascension fan, girl. I'm on the Dominion camp. Two equally viable options for your favorite deck builder. Just one's better than the other.
All right, Alex. Now, this is another game that I think probably has already been on your list, but it is new to me this year, and it is Rebel Princess.
It was not in my top 100.
Okay.
No, it's a 4.5. Half of my 4.5s made their way into my top 100. Half did not.
Now, this one was tricky for me that it is, I want to say it's my favorite trick-taking game that I learned this year.
Okay.
I think it's the only one in my thing from this year. That it was definitely my favorite, and there were quite a few that I learned this year. Cat in the Box is one that would normally be on my list, so that's me talking about why certain things replace things, just to show you a 2024 list that's fresh, where I'm not doing a full 100. But Rebel Princess is, you're playing a trick-taking game where you are trying to get rid of all the suitors, and you don't want to collect them, especially the Frog Prince. And it's something that changes every round with the different rules that you're playing under. And it really, really changes trick-taking. So I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, Alex, where, I don't know, where sometimes...
Where, the person who plays the second highest card wins the trick.
Right, or whatever's, like, furthest from the first thing wins the trick. It really turns things topsy-turvy. And on top of that, you get princess abilities, so you get to have a special ability as well.
Every turn before you play a card. Messes things up.
It's just really cute and thematic, and it's very, very versatile, that there's a lot of replayability. Rebel Princess.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game. My number 29, that was your 29, right?
Yep.
My number 29 is, I'm going in order here, I think, yes, this is an expansion box, because the big box is bigger. Oh, I guess that's cheating. This would not be the biggest box. But I only grabbed the expansion box for Mosaic, Wars and Disasters, because the big box is too big, and I already have too many big boxes over here. But coming in at 29, Mosaic Wars and Disasters is still a game I thoroughly enjoy. It's a game that gives you a lot of, like, it's Terraforming Mars vibes, but very different. It's got light area control in the background, but a whole lot of just trying to gather cards as you build up your own tableau of tags and your economy and how much your workers produce, and then taking produce turns and then building wonders. It just has a lot of things that give you an abstracted 4X, abstracted civilization experience in which you're basically just buying cards, utilizing resources, converting your things into other things to do so better than the other players. I like the simplicity of the, like, 8 basic actions you're taking every turn, the different ways you can try to figure out whether you're taxing or whatever it is, or building a wonder, or encouraging, enacting a new government. There's a lot going on. I actually have not played with the Wars and Disasters expansions. I've read the rules. It was going to happen one time, then it didn't. Base game only for now, but Mosaic is my number 29.
I really enjoy Mosaic.
We should play the
Thumbs
expansion.
up.
Do you want to play the expansion tonight?
After this.
After this? Actually, I already have a.
I
have a different
actually
lineup.
Totally would.
Oh, I have games lined up. Other games in my top 100.
Ooh, I almost just went from the top down on my list, but I wrote it like with my number 21. Yeah. I should not do that. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, you're 28, 27, 28.
You guys. Clans of Midgard. I played this year. This is a game where you are drafting cards for multiple types of set collection. It's a draft and write, but it also has a map where you are summoning different meeples and you are doing area control as well. It is a delight. I really, really loved this one. It was one that honestly, I think it would be even higher on my list if I played it more often, but I find it's at least best at 3, if not higher, so I think I just haven't gotten to play it enough as I would like, but I really, really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this is a surprisingly good game. I like it a lot. The graphic design and production of it, well, the production is fine, I guess. The graphic design pulls it down for me a bit, although I don't know how easily they could fix that. We can check out our review on it. We both were very positive on it. It's an excellent game.
Yeah, Clans of Midgard.
My number 28 is one that has been my top one, I want to say 2 or 3 years in a row. It's like my number 1 game of all time. It has gone down for me, but it's still a classic and an excellent title, and this is Blood Rage. Blood Rage is still a ton of fun. This game still holds up. It's still excellent. It happens to be, it has gone down over time, and I think a big part of that for me is, it's hard to, I know the box is a wreck. The box is an absolute wreck. Me. I find that it's not always true, but I tend to appreciate a lot of discovery within games. A lot of trying to figure out new strategies, new ways to tackle it, new ways to approach it. And Blood Rage is a game that a lot of the charm is combining different powers and monsters and trying to build your own little customized little pool of how you're going to take down your opponents in this area control game. And I think over enough time, I kind of seen most of the combos of how they play out, which had slowly moved it down over time. It's still a great game. It's still an excellent one. Fun fact, BGG actually, I think this was ranked as high as like 14 or 16 somewhere there, and currently it's like down to like 53. It's actually going to be overtaken by Cthulhu Death May Die, fun fact, at some point. If you see the trend of the games, one's getting higher and one's getting lower. But it's still an excellent game. I always
think it's interesting when there's swaps between co-op and competitive games.
Yeah.
Well, that's always an interesting swap.
If you look at the BGG rankings, it's a fascinating little thing. This game shot up to like 14 pretty quickly, and then it's been a slow decline ever since. And Cthulhu Death May Die shot up to like top 1,000 pretty quickly, and then slowly kept climbing, which is fascinating to watch, but also well-deserved. Either way, Blood Rage is still fantastic. Again, we're coming in at 28 here. Amazing game, incredible game. Lost some of the discovery of the new combos. Still a great time every time I table it.
Should we break form and have you go 27 now, or do you want to just go...
No, that would drive me crazy.
You want to just go every other?
The timestamping would drive me crazy. It'd be so inconsistent. It'd be wild. It'd be wild.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
So no.
No.
Okay. Just checking. Alright, you guys. This game surprised me. So, I did use Pub Meeple. We didn't get into exactly how I did my list, but I used Pub Meeple among titles that I thought deserved to be among it, and then with that, I took my top 30. River Valley Glassworks is a good game. It's a good game with friends. It is a fantastic solo game. I played this solo for hours. I had so much fun, and when I thought about it, I was like, this deserves to be on the list. So every single one of the different 5 characters that you see that people play as, they're all different solo modes. So there are 5 different solo challenges for you to play through. And some of them are okay and just like peaceful and nice to play through. But there's one, the final one, this turtle guy, and he is so difficult that it took me multiple tries, and I was getting like amped up ready for it, and then like when he would beat me, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try again. Like, this is so hard. So I really, really picked this just for solo mode specifically. If you're not a solo gamer, it's fun. I think it's light. It could be really fun with, a game group. But if you're a solo gamer, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good time.
This makes sense. You pulled it out, and I was like, it's good. I didn't really like it that much, but solo makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, it would be probably top 100 for me normally, but with solo, so good. So good.
Cool. Number 27. My 27 is, oh my gosh, I have so much fun with this game. It's such a great game.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I honestly fun with all these games.
Honestly, this is
we
a good timing.
We should play all of them after this.
We should play all of them after this. This is a good timing because this is my number 27 boosted by solo. It would be top 100 either way, but solo boosted this for me. And that's Calico.
Oh.
Calico is so much fun. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this overtook Cascadia for me as far as how much I like it, which I was a little shocked by, but it makes sense because the solo of this is so much stronger. I think Cascadia is great in terms of, and Cascadia runs the same publisher, very often compared, but different games, but both games are fantastic in their own right. The solo of this is so much better. Calico is a little puzzly game of trying to gather various tiles, place them onto your board in order to score as many points as possible through both the patterns you're going to make, the colors you're going to combine, and then the specific little puzzly tiles that want configurations around them. This makes a lot more sense if you played it, but there's 3 things you're kind of trying to do. But where the game shines is the competitive mode is already fun, it's challenging, it's a little punishing. Some people don't like the fact that you're trying for that one tile and you never get it. You have to plan around failing to a little degree, but at the end of the day, there is a degree of luck in the regular game where you find that one tile you needed, I don't, that happens. But the solo challenge is so much fun. I have played through all the solo puzzles, I've gotten like 30, 40 plays just playing the solo puzzles, because a lot of them you need to play like 2 or 3 times to actually beat them, and I've started diving into them again already. This is such an enjoyable experience. The solo has elevated Calico for me from a game that I already really loved to a game that I really, really, really loved. That's Calico from Flat Out Games, by number 26 we're at? 26. Right?
Sure. Did you go
29,
first?
27. That's my 27. No, you're sure 26 now. There we go.
I was saying I'm at 26.
Yeah, you should be at 26. I just wrong all the time.
Speaking of solo modes, I have Rolling Realms Redux, but in general, I mean the entire Rolling Realms world. This is a game that has so many different modes, and there are all these different cards that are worlds that you are playing a roll and write, scoring for the different board games that you love. And this one has 12 new worlds. It gives you a bunch of storage. It has a new solo mode, and I will say that this entire spot for me is Rolling Realms, not specifically Redux, because I do think that the original mini golf solo mode is better than the baseball in here. The baseball is still pretty good. It's fine. It does simulate baseball, which is kind of funny that like the other teams are playing each other while you're playing. But I found it can be pretty difficult to win like in the higher leagues. Whatever. Whereas I felt the mini golf was pretty achievable even as it got harder and harder. But yeah, in general, I just absolutely love this game. I love it specifically for solo, and that's that.
Speaking of solo modes...
Oh, wait. One thing I will say. The difference, though, between those two as well is that for the baseball, you can play with any of, like, the expansions and things like that, whereas the mini golf, it's stuck to the certain ones in it, so that's another difference, but...
And it's hard to plan around
you are able to play with the new ones.
They do so much content on a regular basis, it's hard to always have new solo modes while adapting new rules. They should actually have, like, Calico, Cascadia, they should have those games.
And I will say that there's an expansion pack that is, like, a solo challenge as well. I haven't done that yet. Don't spoil, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I have it, so
Speaking of solo modes, my number 26, well, it's actually a cooperative game that plays well solo and plays well cooperatively. Spirit Island is still fantastic. A game that I always want to play more than I do, although that could be...
moving around.
Yeah. I mean, I usually just hold these on their side for the top 100, and if bad things happen, bad things happen.
I just heard.
No one said these videos aren't work, and that work could be the cleanup after, too. But my number 26 is Spirit Island. Spirit Island still holds up as a fantastic solo or cooperative experience. I like it best solo or 2 players. 3 players can still be enjoyable. 4 players is absolute chaos. I do not recommend it, unless you just want chaos for the sake of chaos. But this game has you playing as spirits, vastly asymmetric spirits with tons of abilities that are going to be developed as you build through the minor and major powers in the game, while you try to take on a variety of challenges, either the basic challenge the game provides, or a variety of custom challenges. Well, not really custom per se, but basically you can modulate difficulties and scenarios and all these various things going on in the game in order to give you a very unique, never-before-played combination of spirits and enemies and all these things that is immensely satisfying, always feels brutally difficult, but is often more achievable than it would seem, which I like. I like winning in games, so sue me. And this game makes me feel like I have to work for it, and then at the end I'm like, I won again, and it's fun. It's fun. It does hold up.
It holds up. And one other thing I will say is that it's also very fun to paint for anyone who's new to painting. Painting just those buildings very plainly is a great way to, like, learn bulk painting.
Yeah. 26, Spirit Island.
My number 25 is a game I have not quite yet finished yet, but it is the first Legacy game on my list. Kingdom Legacy. So this is a... Explain to me what this is, Alex. It's a deck construction game?
I need to figure out if I messed up because I'm one game shy somewhere.
Oh, no.
You can keep going. That game is this the game you think I missed?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no.
It was good. We had talked before. She's like, I think you missed the game.
It's a deck construction game where you're making different choices and adding cards to...
There is some degree of deck construction. I would argue it's more deck manipulation. But it's a
manipulation. Yeah, and it's a legacy game, so you're making some permanent choices where you are stickering things, markering things, but also, removing some cards, and also you're brought up with choices of what to add and what not to add. But this, I have really, really been enjoying. I'm really a big fan.
It's a great game. It's a very solid game.
I'm honestly very hopeful for how it's going to end.
Yeah, it is surprisingly good, and there are some games in my top 100 that I haven't even gotten to yet.
This is not in your top 100.
So part of it is we haven't finished it, and by the way, when I say we, it's a solo game, but we both have copies of it. And I don't believe you finished yours yet. I have not finished mine.
I want to say I'm like halfway through.
Yeah,
maybe almost halfway.
I haven't finished mine. I plan on finishing it, and I plan on playing with the expansions, and I really do like it. I already bought more copies of it specifically to dive into it again. You can buy more copies too. You can buy more copies too.
It's not in your top one. No, I'm just saying.
Gotcha. I did debate it.
Yeah.
I did debate it. It's coming in strong. I think part of it, because I haven't finished it, I'm not yet sure where it goes. I don't know. Honestly, it's a fair critique. It's a fair critique.
So, guys, I'll just quickly show you. It's a game where you have these cards in your hand.
Don't mess up.
I know. I'm worried about how I'm doing this. You have these cards in your hand. And you are manipulating how they are oriented. So you can see that there's like two sides and that you can end up like flipping them. I'm like making sure I'm keeping it like
anxiety.
But you're going to make permanent changes throughout the game for yourself. And it's a good time.
It's great. If you've played Palm Island, it basically takes Palm Island and makes it into a legacy game. And it is very, very compelling. I showed my daughter it. I played like 7 rounds with her, and then a week later she's like, did you buy a new copy for me yet?
I'm really
and I was like,
enjoying
no, but I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it's great. It's really, really solid.
Yep. Kingdom Legacy, you guys.
Also, I wasn't missing a game. I forgot that I had 2 small games stacked under one in a way that made it look like I was missing. It's all
You were really distracting me, but I was like, I'm
sorry.
just going to describe this and focus.
Good job. It's very important to be focused. Oh, that's a great choice. I did debate putting it in my top 100. It was just outside. It might be the next year. Who knows? Who's to really say?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Well, us next year. Anyways, my number 25 am I up to?
Sure. You said us next year. I was going to say check out the link down below, but that can't happen yet.
My number 25 is Hanamikoji. Hanamikoji is an excellent game that has consistently been, it's actually dropped a little bit. I think last year was a little higher, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's like dropped like 10 positions or something. But Hanamikoji over here is a delightful 2-player game. There might even be, I don't even know if there's a solo mode. I've never played it solo. I don't think there could be. I don't see how there could be. Do you look it up?
There's no way it could be.
Oh, well, there's sometimes people mimic these games that have that kind of puzzle. But I don't believe it's done.
But I'm going to say no.
It's an I pick, you choose kind of, I cut, you choose kind of game where you are trying to basically win the favor of these various geishas, either through a certain number of geishas or through the value of the geishas. But ultimately, you're playing cards and you're taking these action tokens where are things that you have to choose your actions each round. So an action might be like, put 1 card secretly in your reserve accounts for you. Yay. But you can only do that once. The other action might be divide it into 2 piles and then give your opponent the choice of which pile. And you're like, that doesn't seem fair, but they have to do the same thing to you. And so it's all about trying to use the information you know about, the information you can logically assume and deduce, and then try to give your opponents choices that are not as good as the choices they'll give you. That just don't give them that freedom of actually winning the game. It's challenging. It's incredibly rewarding. I have all the big box version of this. It's actually a normal small box game, but it gives you more variety to the game. It gives you the Hanamikoji Geisha's Road expansion as well, which is a standalone game that plays with the same mechanics. It's delightful, consistently an excellent game. One that, there was a channel, who was the channel? It might have been Thinker Themer. Speaking of which, I'm mentioning Thinker Themer twice in this video. I think they were doing a video on an I Cut You Choose game, and they're like, oh, we don't like I Cut You Choose. And literally I'm starting to type out, you should try Hanamikoji, and then they say in the video, and we've tried Hanamikoji for everyone who keeps telling us to try that. And I was like, how dare you? Friendship over.
You gotta like that kind of game to like that kind of game. I realized halfway through
that I was stacking my games,
yes.
You were stacking yours?
Yes.
Wow, you were really distracting me while I did this, and I was powering through. But like, that's my number 25. It's great. It's great. Your
anyway,
number 24.
Alex, how has the top 100 been so far up until now?
It's been excellent. A little less chaotic, but also a little lonely. It's been like sad just talking about my games to just no one here to argue with me.
Over my list. I'm not arguing at all. I think I'm like reinforcing.
I said I miss people arguing with me. Oh, I need Devin for that.
We'll get to when I can judge you. I'm not judging yet.
You judge me a little bit for King Legacy.
I think you're gonna judge me for my next one.
I haven't judged you yet. They've been pretty solid. I was judging a little with River Valley Glassworks until you said, granted I could just be wrong how much you like it, but now you're like a solo mode. Again, I think River Valley Glassworks is excellent. I don't think it's top 100 material.
But for those that really like calming and stuff, and I do enjoy the deluxe edition, so it does have like a play mat and acrylic tiles and things. It is very nice, but yeah.
Your number 34? 24.
Mission Control.
24. Mission Control.
Is it 24? No, 23. No, 24.
24.
My number 24 is Mission Control. Now, this is a game that I discovered this year, and this is one that would be, I think, normally lower on my list, but in a list of 2024 and things that I've discovered, I absolutely love this game. So this is something similar to something like Captain Sonar, but you are all instead just on a cooperative team playing together as, it is 2 to 4 players, but I recommend only playing it as a 4-player team, where you're playing with someone who is out lost in orbit trying to get back, and they are doing a mini puzzle, while the 3 other players are representing different places in the world, trying to help get this person, this astronaut, back, doing their own types of mini puzzles. So the puzzles are all different, and you're all working without seeing each other's boards, and it's really, really fun. It's cooperative, it's timed, so you're also limited to how long it can go, that it doesn't overstay its welcome, that I think it's really great to show people. And then if you're not working really well with a particular type of puzzle, you have that limited time limit, and then you switch over and try one of the other puzzles, and you know, perhaps that's more fun for you. But I really had a great time with this one every time I've played it.
It's a really great game.
Yeah.
It deserves a spot. Yeah. 24 for me. 24. Oh my gosh, this is a good game. This is a good game. I like these are top 24 at this point. They better be a good game. But 24 is A Feast for Odin, which I currently, fun fact, am in the middle of a BGA game of Feast for Odin that has been going on for like 4 months. This is not my fault.
That is brutal.
It is 4 months later, somebody gets a notification. You're like, it's your turn. I'm like, what was my strategy? I have no clue. I don't care.
That's brutal. You have to reassess every time.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
Is there a way to take notes in BGA? No.
I wouldn't. That's too much work for a game. That's too much
leave
work.
A note to say
BGA
do this next
is supposed to make a game more fun, not less fun. And I'm not taking notes, and it's not homework. Anyways, A Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin is a delightful game that I recommend playing in person for 2 reasons. 1, because then you're not waiting on people 4 months for their turn, and 2, because then you can play with the expansion, which makes the game even better. But this is my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look at the rest of my list, but I'm pretty sure it's my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game. It gives you so much decision space as far as the 70 places you can place a worker on your turn and how it's all going to come together. Fun fact, that game that's 4 months late on, or not my, it's not me, but that game might be my highest scoring game ever. I'm waiting to see how it'll settle, but I feel pretty good. For context, I was finishing it and I thought it was the last round, like round 7, and then I was like,
oh,
it's round 6. It's round 6 that I'm doing that well. So I'm curious. We'll see. Look for the pin comment in 3.5 months when the game ends.
I really, really enjoy this game. I played it so much when I first learned it, and I have not played it enough since. But it's interesting that you said playing it in person, because in the game, you flip tiles to upgrade them, to upgrade the type of good that they are. And I've found that for people that are very fidgety like me,
that's a problem.
It's very, very difficult to just leave everything alone and not touch your tiles. That BGA, I think, is a lot safer for me. That I've actually played BGA in person with friends, and that's both fast and a lot easier for me just to not like mess anything up.
I agree with that, with the trade-off that I like fidgeting my pieces onto my board to test things, and you can't do that as easily in BGA.
And I would say as well, I have done this one solo mode a lot, and I would only ever do it on BGA, because basically what you do is you simulate turns, taking both like as yourself and then a second self. So you're kind of blocking the board from yourself every other turn. And because of that, it's just so much setup just to play a solo game that I would only ever play it solo on BGA. That's all.
You number 23?
23! I realized when I looked at my list for 23 how I'm going to do this now, because my 23 is bigger than the ones below it. But number 23 is again a game that I discovered this year. I know. I was surprised by this, but I wanted to have something that was a dungeon crawler that, like I said, things like Gloomhaven are not on the list. And I wanted to have something that I discovered this year that gave me that much joy that I know there were a few in our game group that really, really liked this one.
Oh, this was a game our group enjoyed. I am surprised this is high for you, but we enjoyed it.
Yeah, so this is a Kyoto No Neko, where you are playing as different cats, just moving around the city, and this is similar to, it's a game that everything makes sense. Where you are a cat, you are running up trees, you're crossing the street, there are people in bikes. So I think it's very intuitive, where it has a lot of like very thinky concepts with the different abilities that you get and how you're moving around the board, but it's also very intuitive with the different things that you're trying to do. And for me, this is what I just want to explore it more.
My number 23 is a small box game that has dropped, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 positions from last year. That's Air, Land, and Sea, Critters, and War. Actually, this may have been my top 10 last year. It has dropped, but again, coming in at 23 is still very, very strong. Air, Land, and Sea, one of the first games I ever reviewed on the channel. This is the cutesy version of it, which is just a straight-up upgrade. But it basically has 2 players trying to play little mind games with each other based on the abilities of the cards. There's only 18 cards in the game, and you're trying to think through, well, I know I have 6, I know you have 6, and I know there's 6 off to the side. Which 6 cards are in play? And then it has an elegant mechanic where you're basically going to retreat, giving your opponent less points. So when you get to the point where you think you're not going to win, you effectively fold. So it's a little bit of a card lane battler combined with the decision making of like a poker game. We have to try to assess when it's time to stay in and not, and that gives so much strategy to this. Always a delight. Air, Land, and Sea, Critters at War, my 23.
Okay, Alex. Now I need to steal a game from your side.
Which game?
Hanamikoji. So this is a game.
Upside down. Sorry.
That's what I thought. It looked upside down. This is a game that I learned this year because Alex taught it to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. Again, I think there were quite a few, like, deduction-style games that we played this year. I think of, like, Manatee Sanctuary, which isn't out yet, which is another I Cut You Choose. But there were a couple of those where it's kind of, what can I push toward you, and think about what I both have still and what I think you're gonna work with. And yeah, it's just very, very elegant. I think it's very clever, and it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's just a really, really delight to play. It's Hanamikoji.
My number 22 is... This is, okay, 22 over here. I wonder if this will be higher next year. And the reason I wonder if it'll be higher next year is because I'll be playing a similar yet different version of this game next year.
Oh.
Can you guess what it is?
No.
The Crew.
Oh, okay.
The Crew Mission Deep Sea. This is an excellent game that has been in my top 100 for a while. It's the game that made me like trick-taking. Until then, I used to say trick-taking was my least favorite mechanic. And I love the Crew Mission Deep Sea. I think it's a better version of the Crew. It gives you more variability to the experience. It's just a great cooperative game where 3 to 5 players can work together to try to solve puzzles using trick-taking cooperatively. I think this might be higher next year, although we'll see, because there's the Lord of the Rings, the trick-taking game, which just came out, which kind of builds upon what the Crew does, but then it makes it thematic to the Lord of the Rings universe. I actually haven't played the current version. I've played the second edition. It isn't actually out yet, which is not really relevant right now. But this one over here, I am very intrigued to see what the Lord of the Rings will do for this for me. But nonetheless, it's a great game either way. The Crew Mission Deep Sea from Cosmos, fantastic game. Definitely recommend it, especially if you find that you don't like trick-taking, but you do like co-op. This might change your mind.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask a question. We allow 1 question.
I'll wait. If I only get 1.
I allow 2 questions.
Okay. Do you, now that you do enjoy trick-taking games, because I know
Yes.
there are a few others you like.
Oh, this has been the start of a
Do
journey.
you prefer now co-op or competitive trick-taking?
This is the second highest. Oh, I guess co-op.
I'm just asking what you prefer in
I guess
general.
arguably co-op,
Yeah.
because as I was about to say, this is the second highest trick-taking game I have on the list, and the highest is not
spoiler.
competitive.
Not competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know.
There we go.
I would call that cooperative.
It's hard to call that
Hard
cooperative.
to say.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
It's not competitive. No spoilers at all to my list from last year.
But my number 21 is a game that has stood the test of time.
Ooh.
Vagrantsong.
After all the games you took off the list, you kept
know. You guys.
this. Wow.
I thought about it, and there's a reason for everything. And there are a lot of games that I did not repeat on my list this year. Like I said, games like Gloomhaven and Enish and things like that. Vagrantsong is one that made it because it's one that still has new content being put out for it. And something that I even bought stuff for at PAX Unplugged, that this is one that I still want to dive more into. So it's one that I actively think about. And me putting it here on my list is me committing to playing more of it next year. That's really why I wanted to do it, so that next year I can say, like, exactly, you know, what a full experience of it is, because I'm a decent way through, but not anywhere near the end, especially with everything that they've put out. But this is a boss battler, but it's also a campaign game where it's taking you through a story where you're going through different trains, encountering these different ghosts, and it's a good time. It's beautiful. It's a great time. I'm really good at rolling dice as well, and it's a dice-based
That does
game.
help.
It's
This is an
very
incredibly
fun.
thematic experience.
It's
It
very
is-
fun and beautiful.
Some of the ghosts are genuinely haunting as far as how the game plays. It's a lot thematically. My number 21 is, well, excellent. A game that still holds up. There is a solo mode, although I vastly prefer this playing this competitively. This is Mind MGMT, Mind Management, from Jay Cormier from Off the Page Games. I can't remember where it was last year. It may have been like 11 last year. Like, it is a good game, but now it's dropped to 21. It's a terrible game. Don't bother. Don't waste your time with it. It's still great. It's still incredible. It is a competitive experience that's going to have you playing in a hidden role game where one player plays as the, I can't remember the name, the recruit or whatever it is, wandering around the board trying to evade capture by the various agents. And the reason this is so high for me is the combination of how easy it is to teach and play, how quick the game is, and how tight the game constantly is, where it has that balance where you constantly feel in the game. I find many hidden role games hidden movement games drop the ball when it comes to that satisfaction of when you get to the end, do you feel you got lucky or do you feel you really played well the whole time? And this is a game where you often feel you played well. Win or lose, you feel you had the opportunity to really engage with the game well. Plus it has the shift system, which basically evolves the game as you play it to make it help balance based on the size and how well your teams are doing. So much variety, so much experience, an excellent game. Mind Management from Off the Page Games.
I also think that one's a great experience for team
Yeah.
feeling. Like when
Yeah.
you want to have a really fun time and you want to kind of like wrangle people but have like something to really strategize about. It's good for a group.
Yeah. Anyways, that has been your 30 through 21, or 31B through 21.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. We'll be back for the next two videos with our top 20 games of all time. Stay tuned for that. Tomorrow, maybe? Actually, it might not be tomorrow. We'll see. The next two videos are coming soon. The next videos. And also,
Coming
timing-wise,
soon to a YouTube near you.
happy holidays as well.
Make sure to
timing-wise.
click that subscribe button, and then you'll know when the new video comes out.
Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
And have a good one.
Bye.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg. I almost snorted this wine fun.
Okay, maybe will that be our outro? Okay.